This is part 4 of our video lecture for Physics 21 and Physics 131. So today we're gonna be discussing about motion along x-axis. Today, we're gonna be utilizing yung tinatawag nating kinematic equations. But these kinematic equations will only be applicable along x-axis or horizontal axis. Since we're talking about kinematic equations here, sa motion natin, i-consider po natin yung acceleration natin dito as constant. Ibig pong sabihin yan, yung value po ng acceleration natin dito is hindi magbabago. So, tingin po tayo dito. So, dito po sa table natin, meron tayong column 1 and column 2. Dito nakalagay po yung mga equations natin at dito naman po sa column 2 natin is yung mga included quantity bawat equation na meron tayo. Okay po. Dito sa equation number 1, mapapansin po natin yung mga included quantities niya, yung time, velocity, and acceleration. Ibig pong sabihin yan, pwede po natin gamitin yung equation number 1 pag missing po si time, pero given po yung dalawa. At pwede rin po natin mahanap si velocity kung given ang time at ang acceleration. At pwede rin po natin hanapin si acceleration if and only if given po yung dalawang quantities na nandito, which is time and velocity. And it applies to the rest of the equations din po. Okay po. Kung titingnan po natin dito, meron tayong labels dito kung saan sa equation number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Again pa, listen carefully. Pag hahanapin po natin yung time, pwede po natin gamitin sa equation number 1. Pwede rin po natin gamitin sa equation number 2 at pwede rin po natin gamitin sa equation number 4 but not equation number 3. Bakit po kaya? Kasi hindi included yung time dito sa equation niya. At again po, magagamit lang po natin yung tatlong equations po if yung mga quantities po na given sa problem mismo ay nakastate or klarong-klaro po dito sa equation natin. Say for example, yung hahanapin natin is time. Tapos yung given lamang po na mga other quantities ay yung position at yung velocity. Meron po bang position and velocity sa equation number 1? Wala po tayong position, pero meron tayong velocity. So, hindi pwede. Sa equation number 2, meron po ba tayong position and velocity? Meron tayong position, pero walang velocity. So, hindi pwede si equation number 2. How about equation number 4? Meron po ba tayong position and velocity? Meron. So, ibig pong sabihin yan, we can only use equation number 4 in solving for time. Okay po? Now, let's proceed with another table. Mapapansin po natin dito na yung time natin is merong iba't ibang value. Dito po sa pinakauna, meron tayong time is equal to 0. Sa pangalawa naman po, meron tayong time is equal to change in t. Sa pangatlo naman po, meron tayong time is equal to 2 times the change in time. Sa pangapat naman po, we have 3 times the change in time. At panglima naman, meron tayong time is equal to 4 times the change in time. Okay po, if a particle moves in a straight line with constant acceleration po. Ito po if the particle moves in a straight line with constant x acceleration. Ibig pong sabihin yan, wala pong pagbabago sa kanyang acceleration. Pero po, meron pong pagbabago sa kanyang velocities sa initial and final. Okay po. Now, tingnan naman po tayo dito. Sa change in time natin, itong lahat ng values ng time natin na merong change, yung x velocity natin dito is nagbabago by equal amounts with respect to the time intervals na meron tayo. However, yung position po natin dito is nagbabago ng iba't ibang value. Dahil po yan sa pagbabago po ng velocities na meron tayo. Okay po? Nagbabago po yung position natin in different amounts dahil po nagbabago po yung velocity natin. Okay po? Now, let's proceed. In this kind of topic or discussion, we're going to consider yung acceleration natin to be constant. At kung doon naman po tayo sa motion, sa mga nahuhulog na bagay, we're going to consider acceleration as constant as well. At yung tinatawag nating acceleration sa y-axis is yung po yung tinatawag nating gravity, which is equal to 9.8 meters per second squared. Okay po? 9.8 meters per second squared near the surface of the Earth. Now, in that case po, di ba pag mayroong nahuhulog na bagay and if we move along x-axis or y-axis, meron talaga tayong mafe-feel na friction with respect to the ground or with respect to the air. In this case po, hindi po natin i-consider na existing po sila. Ibig pong sabihin, those quantities are non-existence po. Okay po? Let's proceed. So, ito po yung example natin for motion along x-axis. So, number 1. A motorcyclist heading east through a small town accelerates at a constant 4.0 meter per second squared. Meter per second squared po yan ha. May squared po yan sa taas. After he leaves the city limits. At time is equal to 0, he is 5.0 meters east of the city limits signpost, moving east at 15 meters per second. So, yung hahanapin po natin dito is yung position at yung velocity, which is along x-axis. Letter B naman po, hahanapin po natin yung position niya after magbago yung velocity niya to be equal to 25 meters per second. Dito po sa letter B, magkakaroon po tayo ng bagong velocity final, and that is 25 meters per second. Tingin po tayo. Ito po yung magiging illustration or ito po yung illustration ng problem natin. Okay po? So, dapat po, again, ang kailangan po dito is yung imagination po ninyo. Dapat po makita po ninyo mismo kung ano pong nangyayari sa problem. Ano po ang mga ginagawa ng bawat objects natin? Is it moving in this manner? Or is it accelerating in this manner? Okay po. Now, mapapansin po natin dito sa illustration natin that we have 2 points. At yung first point ng motorcycle natin is labeled as X sub O. At yung sa final position naman po is X lang, walang subscript. Ibig pong sabihin yan, pwede po nating gamitin yung F to indicate final position. Okay po? Para mas maging klaro. At yung sa initial naman, gamitin natin yung subscript na O. At always remember, in every motion, there is a starting point. At kaya po dito sa signpost natin, we labeled it as 0. As the reference po ng motion natin. Okay po? Now, in the first position of our motorcycle, meron po tayong velocity initial. Obviously, that is along x-axis. Lahat po ng ito is along x-axis. At yung time naman po natin dito is equal to 0 second. At the second position naman po ng motorcycle natin, where t or time is equal to 2.0 seconds, yung position natin ngayon dito is unknown. At yung velocity final natin dito is unknown as well. Pero yung acceleration natin dito is given, which is equal to 4.0 meters per second squared. And remember, if we talk about position, if we talk about velocity and acceleration, we are talking about vector quantities. And that means to say, merong pong direction na included. If it is not stated kung papuntang left or papuntang right, pag yung values po natin is positive, or yung values po natin ay mga positive, ibig pong sabihin, it is moving towards the positive x direction. Okay po? In this case, nasa x axis lang tayo. So, lahat po ng values natin is moving towards the positive x direction. Clear po ba? Sige, let's proceed. So, let's solve letter A. Since alam natin po yung values ng initial position natin, initial velocity, at yung acceleration natin, we refer doon sa equations na binigay sa atin kanina. Yung equation 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay po. At hahanapin po natin yung position, velocity, sa time na 2.0 seconds. Ibig pong sabihin yan, ang hinahanap po natin dito is simply yung, ito po, tingin po, yung x final natin at yung velocity final natin. Okay po? So, i-clear out lang po natin yan. So, as part of our solution, kailangan po nating isulat lahat ng given values. Dito pa lang po, pag mali po yung label ninyo sa given ninyo, or mali po yung pagkabigay po ninyo ng specific variable, mali na po. Baka po napagpalit po ninyo yung initial at final position, or yung time, mali na po kaagad yung ginagawa nating process. So, for our given, we have initial position, which is 5.0 meters. Yung final position naman po natin is unknown. Yung time initial is equal to 0. Time final is equal to 2.0 seconds. Yung velocity initial naman po natin is given. Yung velocity final is unknown. Yung acceleration natin is constant. Okay? So in this case, we're going to use equation number 2. Bakit po kaya? Again, balik po doon sa sinabi natin kanina. Kung saan po fitted po lahat ng values na meron tayo sa given, yun po yung gamitin natin. If mahihirapan po kayo gamitin yung alin doon sa kanila, hanapin po ninyo yung pinakamadali para po diretso-diretso. Okay po? Now, this is equation number 2. X final or position final is equal to initial position plus velocity initial times time plus 1/2 the product of acceleration and time raised to power of 2. Okay po? Ano pong hinahanap sa atin dito? Yung final position and the velocity final. In this case, we're going to find the final position. Since meron po tayong initial position, i-substitute lamang po natin yung value. Ano pa po ba yung variable na kailangan natin? Velocity initial. Meron din po tayo. Ilagay lang dyan. Acceleration. Ilagay lang po dyan. Yung time naman natin, which is 2 seconds, ilagay lang natin dyan. And after doing the operation, pagka-input po, ito na po yung magiging itsura niyan. Ito po. Now, doing the operations, yung final answer po natin is 43 meters. Since it is positive, kahit wala pong naka-indicate na direction, sabihin natin east, walang nakalagay na east, by the answer alone, it is already saying that it is moving towards east. Okay po, or moving towards the positive direction. Klaro po ba? Okay, let's proceed. I-clear po muna natin to. So ngayon, hahanapin po natin yung ano na ngayon, yung velocity natin at time is equal to 2.0 seconds. Ngayon po, meron po tayong nadagdag dito na variable which is yung x final natin. Ilagay po natin yung value na yan dito ngayon. Okay po? So ibig sabihin yung unknown na lang natin is ito. So malapit na. So since by evaluation, doon po sa pagtingin natin sa mga equations na meron tayo, the most appropriate equation na gagamitin natin is yung equation number 1. Yan. So this is equation number 1 doon sa table natin. Okay? So, simply, alam naman po natin yung velocity initial. Ano pa nga ba yung velocity initial? Ito. Simply put it there. Ano pa? Yung acceleration, lagay natin dyan. And, ito po yung magiging itsura. Ay wait, yung time pa pala. Time back. Yan. Yan yung time natin. Or simply that is that one. Okay po. I-clear po muna natin kasi masyado nang madumi. By doing the operation po, makukuha po natin yung final answer natin, which is 23 meters per second. Again, positive. Meaning to say, it is going towards the east direction. Okay po ba? So, natapos po natin yung letter A. Let's proceed with letter B. Ngayon po, hahanapin po natin yung position niya ngayon na kung saan, in this case, yung velocity niya or yung velocity final is 25 meters per second. Okay po. So, magkakaroon po tayo ng bagong velocity final. Kanina po, yung velocity final natin is 43 meters. Ngayon, hindi na po 43 meters yung reference natin, ha? Yung hindi yan velocity, this is position. Yung final velocity natin is unknown. Tapos na-solve natin which is 23 meters per second. Hindi po ito ang gagamitin natin later. Okay po? Yung gagamitin po natin ngayon is yung 25 meters per second as our velocity final. As part of the solution, we write the given values. So, ito po yung kanina. Ang nangyari lang po is pinalitan lang po natin yung velocity final x. Okay po? This is now 25 meters per second with respect to what the problem wants to know. Okay? So, we use equation number 3 from the given equations. Bakit po kaya? Dahil po, mas madali pong gamitin yung equation number 3 at nandoon po, or lahat po ng values na meron tayo dito sa given, dito po is present po doon sa equation. Okay po? So, let's clear this one out. So, ito po yung equation number 3. Velocity final raised to the power of 2 is equal to velocity initial raised to the power of 2 plus 2 times the acceleration value times the difference or the change in position. Ngayon, solving for x. So, mangyari po dito, yung hinahanap po natin dito ulit is yung x final. Okay po? So, ibig sabihin po niyan, kailangan po muna nating i-derive yung equation para po yung matira na lang po is si x final. So, madali lang po yung process dito. So, first thing that you have to do is to distribute yung acceleration natin. 2 times acceleration. Okay po. So, magiging itsura niyan ngayon is 2ax x final minus 2a sub x x initial. Okay po. Ito ngayon yung magiging itsura ng itong dalawang to. Huwag po natin kalimutan, hindi po ito matatanggal. Nandyan pa rin po yan. Okay po. Now, doing the mathematics by substitution and by elimination, makukuha po natin ito siya. Ito na po yung ngayon yung magiging itsura natin. So, this is x or yung x final natin. Yan. Okay po. Now, proceed po tayo. Ilagay lang po natin yung mga values. Sa x sub o, ano yung x sub o natin? Ito. Yung velocity final, ano yung velocity final natin? Yan. Yung velocity initial naman. Yan naman yung velocity initial natin. Yung acceleration natin is obviously 4.0 meters per second squared. Since nandiyan na po lahat ng mga variables natin, doing the operations gives us 55 meters. So this is again a x final. Or pwede po natin sabihin x lang. This is x final. Perfect. So let's proceed with ano bang next? Wala na pala. So let's proceed with problem number 2. In this case po, mapapansin po natin doon kanina na meron lang po tayong one object that is moving. In this case po, meron po tayong dalawang object dito na gumagalaw. Okay po? At magkaiba po yung acceleration nila. Pero constant pa rin po yung acceleration ng bawat object natin dito. In this case lang po, dalawang gumagalaw na bagay yung i-consider natin. Okay po? So, for number 2, we have different accelerations of different objects or particles. A motor is traveling with a constant speed of 15 meters per second passes a school crossing corner where the speed limit is 10 meters per second. Ibig sabihin po, yung initial velocity niya is 15 meters per second. Nung paglagpas nyo po sa school crossing corner, binabaan niya po yung speed niya to 10 meters per second. Okay po? Tapos, yung motorist natin, just as the motorist passes the school cross sign, a police officer on a motorcycle stops there and starts in pursuit with a constant acceleration of 3.0 meters per second squared. Bakit po kaya hinabol? Ano po kaya nangyari? Nagbago po kaya yung speed ng motorist natin? Ibig pong sabihin niyan, hindi. Dahil hinabol siya ng police officer. So, hindi niya po sinunod yung 10 meters per second. Constant pa rin. Yung velocity initial niya at yung velocity final niya is the same. Which is equal to, ano nga po yung value niya? 15 meters per second squared. Okay po. So, from this problem, masasabi po natin na yung acceleration ng motorist natin, sabi natin motorist M, that is equal to 0. Kasi yung difference po ng initial and final natin is equal to 0. I hope po na klaro. Proceed po tayo. Yung hahanapin po natin dito is yung time. Yung time na kung saan yung police officer natin passes the motorist. Ano po yung oras na kailangan para po malagpasan yung motorist natin ng police officer. Kasi po, pag meron po tayong sasakyan tumatakbo, tapos nag-overspeeding po tayo, obviously, the police who is in charge of traffic, or say for example, sa bilis ng takbo ng sasakyan, mag-overtake yan para ipa-stop po yung sasakyan ninyo. Okay po? Now, for letter B, yung hinahanap dito is yung speed. What is the officer's speed at that time? Yung speed po ng officer natin, yung police officer. Gaano po kabilis yung takbo ng police officer? Okay po? So, napapansin na po natin dito, or from what is asked, makikita po natin, okay, the motorist and the police officer are both moving at different speed and at different acceleration. Okay po? Letter C. At that time, what distance has each vehicle traveled? Gano'n po kalayo na ngayon yung dalawang vehicles na meron tayo from the signpost na meron tayo? Okay po? Ibig po sabihin yan, hahanapin po natin yung layo ng police officer and motorist at that given time interval na nakuha natin o kukunin pa natin doon sa letter A. Okay po? Let's proceed. Ito po yung illustration. In this case po, given po yung illustration natin. Pero sa mga sumusunod or sa mga problem na ibibigay sa inyo, hindi po kayo bibigyan. Bakit po? You have to imagine. You have to understand the problem itself. Kung ano po ang nangyayari. Okay po? So we have two objects, or we have two vehicles. Yung sa police officer at yung sa motorist natin. Okay po? Now, ito po yung crossing sign na meron tayo. And that is our initial, that is our reference with respect to their motion. Okay po? I-clear po muna natin para masyadong madumi na. Ito po yung initial position ng police officer natin. Tapos ito po yung ito po yung position ng motorist natin. Mapapansin po natin yung position ng police officer natin is labeled as X sub V at sa motorist naman natin is X sub M para po hindi po tayo malito sa mga given values na isusulat natin. Okay po? At naka-indicate rin po dito sa ano po kaya? Sa illustration natin na yung acceleration po ng motorist not the motorist, the police officer, is 3.0 meters per second square. Samantalang dito naman po sa motorist natin is 15 meters per second. Constant po yan hindi po yan nagbabago. Ibig sabihin, by the statement alone, sinasabi po dyan na yung acceleration po ng motorist along X is equal to 0. Malaking 0. Okay po. Now, let us proceed. So, as part of your solution, kailangan po natin isulat yung given values. So, how much time elapses before the officer passes the motorist? Sa mga given values po, ito po yung mga kailangan natin. Sa police officer po, alam po natin yung initial position niya, which is equal to 0. Kahit hindi naka-indicate doon, kasi sinabi mang at rest. Pag sinabing at rest, yung initial position niya is obviously will be equal to 0. Yung final position is unknown. Hindi po natin alam. So unknown po ito, unknown. Yan. Time initial is equal to 0. Time final is unknown. Velocity initial of the police officer is also equal to 0. Velocity final of the police officer is unknown. The acceleration of the police officer is 3.0 meters per second square. Okay po. Samantalang doon naman po sa motorist natin, ito rin po yung mga corresponding values. Okay po. Ito po rin yung mga corresponding values na meron yung motorist natin. So, in this case, gagamitin po natin yung equation number 2 doon sa mga equations na given sa atin. Because, bakit po kaya? It is the most appropriate equation para sa problem na ito. So, ito po yung equation number 2. So, yung hinahanap po natin sa oras na ito is yung ano ngayon? Yung time. Okay po, yung time. So, ngayon, if gagamitin po natin yung mga values na meron tayo dito, hindi natin basta-basta makukuha. Kasi magkaiba po yung i-consider natin dito. I-consider po natin yung mga values na meron si police officer at yung values na meron din po tayo kay motorist. Okay po. I-clear muna natin ito. So, mangyayari dito, kukuha po tayo or magbibigay po tayo ng dalawang equations. At yung iisipin lang po natin dito, sa equations po na ipapakita po natin para sa police officer and sa motorist is yung basis nila dito is yung time pa rin. Kasi we need to look for the value of time. Then later on, we're going to equate the two equations na makukuha natin. Okay? So in this case, para kay police officer, ito yung magiging itsura niya. From this, yung ganito. Okay po? Since hinahanap po natin is yung value ng, ano hinahanap natin? Yung value ng time. Dapat po si time is evident po sa equation ng police officer at ng motorist. So, kung ano mang given na value, ilagay lahat. At titingnan natin kung anong matitira. So, yung natira sa atin is yung position final is equal to the positive value of 1/2 times 3.0 meters per second times time raised to power of 2. Okay po. So, kung isusulat o i-rewrite natin yan, ito po yung magiging itsura niyan. X final ng police officer natin is 1/2 the acceleration times time raised to power of 2. Okay po ba? Now, with respect naman po sa motorist natin, ito po yung magiging itsura niya ngayon. Okay po? At lahat po ng values dito is refer dito o nakabase. Now, let's proceed. Katulad po ng ginawa natin sa equations which is presented dito po, kailangan po natin i-substitute lahat ng values na meron tayo dito papunta dito. Okay po? And by doing that, we are remain by the value of the final position to be equal to the product of the ano po kaya? The product of the velocity and time. So, ito po yung matitira. So, para po maging klaro, ito po yung itsura niyan. Yan po. So, ito po yung i-equate natin later with respect to time. Okay po. Makikita po natin that time is here. Time is here. So, meron tayong varying degree with respect to time. Meron tayong degree 1 at degree 2. Okay po? Let's proceed. So, i-equate po natin si final position ng police at final position po ng motorist natin. And that, in turn, will give us this equation. So, I hope klaro lang po ha. So, dapat po clear po yung mind niyo while watching this video. Forget everything po muna. Dito po muna kayo focus sa discussion natin. Let's clear this one out. So ngayon, meron tayong gagawin dito. Yung gagawin natin dito is i-transform natin na kung saan lahat ng values natin mapupunta sa lahat ng variables natin, pwede natin ilagay lahat sa left side or sa right side. I-equate natin to be equal to 0. Okay po? By doing that, ito po yung magiging itsura niya as of now, as of the moment. Pero kung gusto po nating i-indicate or i-equate po yan ng maayos, pwede po natin isulat yan with respect to the degree, with respect to their varying degrees. 10. Okay. So, magiging itsura niyan is A X T raised to the power of 2 minus 2 V O X M times time is equal to 0. Okay po. Bakit po naging negative? Review po sa mathematics ninyo. Pag maglilipat po tayo ng variable papuntang kabilang side po, mag-change rin po yung sign. Okay po? So, ito po yung dahilan kung bakit ito po ngayon yung naging itsura. Take note of this. Take note of this. Okay? So, i-clear po natin yan. Clear po natin yan, ha? Clear. Yan. So, from the equation, mapapansin po natin na it is very familiar kasi po, yan po yung tinatawag natin quadratic formula. So, magagamit po natin yung formula ng quadratic equation to solve for time. In this case po, meron tayong dalawang values ng time. Okay? Meron tayong dalawang values ng time. Pero isa lang po yung i-consider natin. Sige, let's proceed. This is the one that we call quadratic formula, which is this one, which is familiar kasi this one po is quadratic formula. Okay po, yung sinulat po natin kanina, don't forget, yung A sub X T to the power of 2 minus 2 V O X M T is equal to 0. Take note of this. So, ibig kong sabihin, ito po siya is ito. Yan. And this one is this one. At yung letters naman po natin, wala po. Constant, ibig kong sabihin, letter C is equal to 0. Okay po. Let's proceed. Ayan. Let me clear this one ko muna. Ayan. Yan po yung magiging itsura ngayon. If you try to look for the value of time. Ito pong si x dito, this will represent time. Ayan po. Ayan. Okay po. At yung mga values natin, itong si B, itong si A, yan si A po, is yan po yung value natin dito. Ayan. Okay po. Other than T. Okay po. Yung si letter B naman po natin, itong si letter B alone is ito po. Aside from time. Okay po. Itong si letter C, sabi natin kanina, this is equal to 0. Okay po. I-enter lang po natin lahat ng values niyan dito. So first, we are going to solve for time where this is positive po muna. Ulitin po natin ha. Isosolve po natin yung time natin na ito lang po muna yung i-consider natin positive. Later naman po, may i-consider natin is yung negative sign. Okay po? Now, let's proceed. So, ito po ngayon yung magiging itsura niyan. So, ito pong B natin, yung B. B natin. Ito yung B natin, di ba? Ito yung B natin. Huwag pong kalimutan na, i-write natin ulit. Wait lang ha. A sub x times t raised to the power of 2 minus 2b sub o x m times t is equal to 0. Ito si letter A. This is letter A. Ito naman po si letter B. Okay po. So, substitute lang po dito. Ito lang po, i-substitute natin. Wait lang, sorry. Erase natin na, wait lang. Erase. Tingnan. Itong si letter A natin, di ba si letter A is nasa loob? Ito siya. Ibig sabihin, ito po siya is yan. Samantalang itong si letter B, is ito po yan. 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 At ito rin po. Hindi pala. Hindi ito kasali ha. Erase natin yan. Wait lang. Kasali ba? Wait a minute. Letter A natin. This is letter A. Hindi yan letter B. Erase natin yan. Erase. Ibig sabihin, ito po siya is, this is letter A. Okay po. Ayun, klaro lang po. I-pause lang po muna or pwede po balikan yung video para po maging klaro sa atin. Ito po siya. Yung reference natin dyan, ito po entirely, yung reference natin dyan is ito po. At ito rin po. Okay? So, let's move on. Move on na po tayo. So, kung kukunin po natin o yung gagamitin natin is yung positive value po muna, mapapasin natin positive lang muna. Kung positive lang muna yung gagamitin natin, makakakuha po tayo ng sagot na 10 seconds. Okay po? Makakakuha po tayo ng sagot na 10 seconds. If we try to use the negative sign dito, wait ha, negative sign, wala itong positive, wala ito. Sorry about this. Walang positive, yan. Pag walang positive, negative yung gagamitin na natin, it will equal to 0. Since it is moving with respect to time, hindi natin consider ito na 0. So, discard na po ito. Ito lang po yung consider natin as our final answer for the time elapsed na kailangan po ng police officer natin para mahabol po yung motorist natin. That is t, or time is equal to 10 seconds. So letter B. Letter B na tayo. What is the officer's speed at that time? Ngayon, madali na lang po ngayon yung gagawin natin is equation 1. Kasi meron na tayong value ng time. Hindi na tayo mahirapan. So, velocity final natin is hinahanap. Velocity initial is given. Yung velocity initial natin sa police officer natin is 0. Kasi naka-indicate po sa problem na at rest po yung police officer natin initially. At yung acceleration niya is given to be constant. Okay po. Constant po yung acceleration. Yung time naman po natin, itong time dito, gagamitin na po natin ito siya. Kaya po, pag mali po yung nakuha nating sagot from letter A, mali na po yung magiging sagot natin for letter B. Okay po? So, let us look at it properly. So, clear po muna natin. So, we label it as, meron tayong ilalagay na sub B kasi police officer para po. So, yan. Yung sagot po natin dyan is 30 meters per second. That is the final velocity of our police officer with respect to time, which is equal to 10 seconds. Okay po ba? I hope klaro. Let's proceed with letter C. Yung gagawin natin dito, hanapin po natin yung distance na na-covered ng dalawang vehicle na meron tayo. So, considering the police officer and, ano po kaya? Considering then yung motorist natin. Okay? So, ngayon, we are going to use this equation with respect to their distances, the final position natin. Para naman po sa kuan, sa motorist natin, gagamitin rin po natin equation is this one. Okay po. Ito pong time natin itong time natin dito is yung makuha natin. Pareho po sila ng time kasi they will meet at some point doon sa distances na cover nila. Okay? I-erase lang po muna natin. This is equation number 3. Equation number 3 yung gagamitin natin. Okay po? Answer natin dyan is 150 meters for the police officer. Samantalang sa motorist naman natin is 150 meters pa rin. Yung final position from the signpost papunta sa kanilang second position. Okay po? Klaro po ba? I hope klaro lang po. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, they stop at 150 meters. Pwede nyo pong ilagay lahat ng mga values ng X at V, time, acceleration, para po maklaro po natin kung bakit po pareho po sila ng value. So, yan lamang po yung gagawin natin for the second problem. The second problem is magkaiba po yung velocities, accelerations, or acceleration ng dalawang vehicle natin. Okay po. So, this ends our topic about motion along x-axis. So, sa part 5 ng video po natin, we will be discussing motion along y-axis.